Okay, guys, let's get started. Let's continue with the last exercise from yesterday, just to make sure that we've understood the grammar. And yeah, remember that the heart symbol, it means anybody can do it. I guess Juliana hasn't come back, so it's all yours, Victor. It's all yours.
Okay.
Number one, would you read it and what you chose?
No, because I had in front hot is sharing tool results. What is that?
That's on your screen.
Yes.
You can close it.
Is everything okay, guys? You're ready to start?
Oh, that's from the poll. Let me close that.
I close.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so number one, please. What do you think?
Number one, we be late, but we wouldn't. Second.
So we thought we would be late, but we wouldn't or weren't?
We weren't.
We weren't. Okay. Number two.
The newspaper said it was going to read, but I don't remember when I say will is would. It would. So no. But it didn't.
But it didn't. Okay. Number three.
I believe she was telling the truth, but she wasn't.
Okay. And number four.
He thought everything would be okay, but
it was.
It was. So remember, these are intentions and plans that changed. For the first section, this is what we thought. We thought we would be late, but the opposite happened. That's the opposite. We weren't late. We can write it. We weren't late. For the next one, the newspaper said that it was going to rain, but it didn't rain. The newspaper said it, but it changed. The plans changed, the intentions changed. And for number three, I believed she was telling the truth, but she wasn't telling the truth. So for the last one, guys, he thought everything would be okay, but
it wasn't.
It wasn't okay, but it wasn't okay.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It changed. He thought everything was okay. Well, this is in the. That was the plan. Remember that will becomes would. So maybe he said originally he said something like. Let me write that. He probably said something like he said. That's a quotation. Or instead of said, we can change it for thought. But it's hard to make a quotation with a thought. He said, everything will be okay. So then you can say, he thought that everything would be okay, but it wasn't. Here that it wasn't. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, let me take a screenshot. Okay, so let's continue. Oh, it closed. It always happens with Windows. Yeah, with escape, the thing gets closed. I don't know why. Let me relaunch the app, guys. 1 second. Okay. Wait a bit, I'm getting lost. So now we are gonna learn some vocabulary. These are reasons for changing plans.
I was going to be an artist, but it's hard to make a living.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Fernando. You were supposed to repeat, guys. Let's start over. What's going on?
What happened?
I can't see the audio.
Oh, there was no audio.
Yes, I can hear too.
Maybe it was when I relaunched it. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
Read and listen.
Can you hear it now properly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Read and listen.
I wanted to be a rock star, but my tastes changed.
I was going to be an artist, but it's hard to make a living as an artist.
I thought I would be a lawyer, but I didn't pass the exam.
I wanted to become a firefighter, but my family talked me out of it.
I was going to marry George, but I changed my mind.
Now listen again and repeat.
I wanted to be a rock star, but my tastes changed.
I
I
want
want to
to
be a rock star, but my taste changed.
I was going to be an artist, but it's hard to make a living as an artist.
I was
I was
going to
going
be
to
an
be an
artist,
artist,
but
I was
but
going
it's
to be an
hard to
artist,
make a
but it's
living
hard to make a
as
I
an
thought
living
I
as
artist.
would
an
be a
artist.
lawyer, but I didn't pass the exam.
I thought
I
I
thought
would be
I
a
would be
lawyer,
a lawyer,
but I
Lawyer.
but
didn't
I
pass
didn't
But
it.
I
pass the
didn't pass
exam.
the exam.
I wanted to become a firefighter, but my family talked me out of it.
I
I
want to
wanted to
become a
I want
become
to become a
firefighter,
firefighter,
but
but
my
but
my
my
family
family
family talked
talked
me
thought
out of
I
it.
me
was
out.
going to marry George, but I changed my mind.
I was
I
I
was
was
I
going
was
going
to
going to
to
marry
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 George,
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 but I
but
changed
I
my
changed
mind.
my mind.
Questions, guys?
No,
no.
teacher.
No,
Okay, so exercise B, would you read the instructions, Fernando?
Yes. Vocabulary, grammar practice. Complete each sentence using would and a reason from the vocabulary. Then compare reasons with a partner.
Okay, so there's your marks. Whoever finishes first can do number 4. Zulima hasn't arrived. Actually, we can do this on the platform. No, I think it's fine. Just do it here. Just do it here. So we can move on quicker.
Wood.
Is become. Become. Okay. Become.
You can write on the blackboard. Okay, so that was Victor. Number 42, Victor, please. Fernando, the tense. This is the base form of the verb study.
Oh, we need to change to past.
Not necessarily. Here we have in the present, for example, I was going to be an artist, but it's hard to make a living. That's present tense. In the present, it's hard to make a living as an artist. So that here you're giving the reason why you changed your plan. It doesn't have to be in the past.
Okay.
You can even write it in the future. Like, I thought I would become an astronaut, but there will be no more space exploration before I die. That's future tense. So the first part where you are expressing the changing of plans, yeah, that has to be with the structure was we're going to or would, but the reasoning, the explanation of why you changed it, that can be in the past, that can be in the present, in the future. You could probably even use past perfect or any other tenses. You just need to be creative. But yeah, but she was studying engineering. That's incorrect. That's no tense.
Okay.
She didn't present the exam. That's more logical. How are you doing, Juliana?
Okay. 1 minute, please. No, 10 seconds.
Okay, Juliana. Is everything okay?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So for Yo, always believed he would become a writer, but it's a difficult career. Uh-huh. This is the present tense. Let me just make this a little bit. It's a difficult career. Remember, guys, that your keyboard has an option to input apostrophes. Usually, I see that this inverted accent. Fix that, please. In your tests, that sometimes that's a mistake because you're answering with the contraction, but it's not a proper apostrophe. So the solver doesn't realize that that's what you wanted to write, and it thinks it's a mistake. So number 3, we were sure. Okay, Will and Stella said.
I forget the word is Bill and Stella
Uh-huh.
worship.
Uh-huh.
We
We would
would
get.
get
Uh-huh.
a divorce, but we change our mind.
Okay. Not very creative, you two guys, but it's fine. But I changed your mind, but you changed our mind. Yeah, it's fine. Let me take a screenshot. So the next section we are going. Will you read the instructions, Elena, for exercise 6?
Yes, teacher. Listen to the active vocabulary. Listen to the conversation. Complete each statement about the decision each person made. Then listen again and use the vocabulary to write the reason each person changed his or her mind.
Okay. So let's listen to it, and yeah.
Listen to the conversations. Complete each statement about the decision each person made. Conversation 1.
So, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Me? I actually wanted to be a sculptor, and I was one for about 5 years.
Really? So, how come you're an architect now?
I guess it was just impossible to make a living.
I can imagine.
Conversation 2.
Weren't you going to marry that beautiful American dancer? What was her name? Jessica?
You remember? You're amazing.
What made you change your mind?
I never really changed my mind. My parents convinced me not to do it.
Conversation 3.
I always thought you would become a lawyer.
What do you mean?
Well, you love to argue, and you love to win.
To tell you the truth, I really thought I would become a lawyer too, but I couldn't pass the entrance exam. I took it twice.
You're kidding.
Well, there's more to law than arguing and winning.
Conversation 4.
I remember that Romanian skier you were going to marry.
Oh, yes, Andrei. He was so cute.
Whatever happened?
When you get older, your tastes just change, I guess. That's why I married Jerome.
Listen again and use the vocabulary to write the reason each person changed his or her mind. Conversation 1.
So, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Me? I actually wanted to be a sculptor, and I was one for about 5 years.
Really? So, how come you're an architect now?
I guess it was just impossible to make a living.
I can imagine.
Conversation 2.
Weren't you going to marry that beautiful American dancer? What was her name? Jessica?
You remember? You're amazing.
What made you change your mind?
I never really changed my mind. My parents convinced me not to do it.
Conversation 3.
I always thought you would become a lawyer.
What do you mean?
Well, you love to argue, and you love to win.
To tell you the truth, I really thought I would become a lawyer too, but I couldn't pass the entrance exam. I took it twice.
You're kidding.
Well, there's more to law than arguing and winning.
Conversation 4.
I remember that Romanian skier you were going to marry.
Oh, yes, Andre. He was so cute.
Whatever happened?
When you get older, your tastes just change, I guess. That's why I married Jerome.
Easy, right, guys? Number 1, would you read your answers, Elena?
Yes, teacher. She wanted to be a sculptor, but she changed her mind because it's impossible living.
Living, like the verb living. You live to go somewhere else, like leaving a city, leaving your home.
Yes.
Okay, let's check out the transcript then.
Listen to the conversations. Complete each statement about the decision each person made. Conversation 1.
It's different, right?
To make yes.
Because it's impossible. Here, don't forget the object pronoun it, because it is impossible to make a living. You read yours, Fernando?
Yes, the second.
Yeah.
It's I need to read. Number 2, he was going to marry Jessica. I have a question. We need to put, in this case, he was going to marry with Jessica, or it's okay to marry Jessica?
I guess you only need an object. So you marry someone. Yeah, you marry someone. He was going to marry her.
Okay. Number 2, he was going to marry Jessica, but he didn't because his parents convinced him for didn't do it.
Just remember that with the preposition to, let me mark it. Usually it follows the base form of the verb, or the infinitive. He was going to marry. This is married. Married. To marry Jessica. But he didn't because his parents convincing him.
It's okay. No, it's incorrect. His parents convinced. I don't remember how represent third person.
Well, first of all, if we are using the ing form, usually we have an auxiliary verb, and that is just like I was convincing or I am convincing. The verb be. But in this case, well, we don't have that. We don't have that. Actually, that's what we're learning. We are learning going to. She was going to. He was going to. So we have the was going. His parents were convincing, but I don't think that's correct because that in the simple past, were convincing. That's a past continuous action, and this is something that they did in the past. And what tense do we use when we do something in the past? And in
Take,
yes, Victor?
take, maybe, because it's a take decision. So his part take is the same.
Well, the tense is simple past. I think the verb convincing is correct, but the verb to convince is correct, but the tense is wrong. The tense is wrong. Let me fix this. Let's check out the transcription. This isn't working.
Conversation 2.
Weren't you going to marry that beautiful American dancer? What was her name? Jessica?
You remember? You're amazing.
What made you change your mind?
I never really changed my mind. My parents convinced me not to do it.
Conversation.
So this is in the simple past. His parents convinced him, and then not to do it. For didn't do it, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
So his parents convince him for not do it.
So the structure is you convince someone to do something, or convince someone not to do something.
Okay.
So the preposition for, that doesn't make sense. Number 3, Victor, what do you have? Would you read yours?
Yes. He always thought she would become a lawyer.
A lawyer?
A lawyer?
Lawyer?
But she didn't. Lawyer, okay, a lawyer. But she didn't because she didn't pass the exam.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Oh, yes, omit the why.
Let's see, guys.
Conversation 3.
I always thought you would become a lawyer.
What do you mean?
Well, you love to argue, and you love to win.
To tell you the truth, I really thought I would become a lawyer too, but I couldn't pass the entrance exam. I took it twice.
You're kidding.
Well, there's more to law than arguing and winning.
Conversation 4.
Okay, and conversation 4. Will you read it, Juliana?
Yes. She was going to marry a Romanian named Andrei, but she didn't because I don't have the answer.
Well, that's the transcript. You can fill it in now.
I remember that Romanian skier you were going to marry.
Oh, yes, Andrei. He was so cute.
Whatever happened?
When you get older, your tastes just change, I guess. That's why I married Jerome.
So, what will you write, or what are you writing, Elena? But she didn't because.
I don't understand.
Their taste change, maybe?
Her tastes.
Hair.
Changed.
Hair.
Yeah, hair. Her tastes changed. Your taste is what you like. It can be food related. You like pizza, or you like black coffee. Maybe you like doing sports when you go traveling, or you like reading a book. Those are tastes. We also have tastes when we find someone attractive, and maybe when this person, when she had met Andre, she found this person attractive, but then as she got older, she chose someone different. Your own. Question, guys?
Like me, my wife, because she changed her mind. Oh, he changed her taste of the music, for example.
Oh, okay. Okay. I
All right.
thought you were going somewhere
Okay.
different, Victor. So she changed her taste of music. Okay.
And
Yeah.
the food too, because she likes the spicy food. I
Uh-huh.
don't like
Spicy
the
food.
spicy. Yes, so
Okay.
it's obligation for me change.
An obligation?
Yes, because I can't eat space food.
Ah, you can't eat it. Well, that's a sacrifice that she made for love. But she's a cute. Let me show you a video before we move on. The conversation activator videos. I guess this is it.
Let's personalize the conversation model.
I shouldn't have studied law. Why do you think that? Well, I don't really like law. I think I would have enjoyed being a doctor. Could be, but you never know. You might not have liked medicine. That's true.
Now let's personalize the conversation model.
Wait, maybe I got that wrong, guys. That's for lesson 2. This is still lesson 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No. That's for at the end. No, this is the goal for this unit is for this lesson is to explain a change of intentions or plans. This is a conversation model that we went over yesterday. So we used that grammar as we're going. We had this change in plans. And well, now we can explain a change of intentions or plans using that model. But then here's a video. Is this another video? Let's see, guys. Maybe this is the one I wanted to show.
Let's change the conversation model.
So what are you doing these days?
Well, I'm getting married.
No kidding. I thought you had other plans.
That's right. I was going to go to drama school, but I changed my mind.
How come?
Well, it's hard to make a living as an actor.
Now let's change the conversation model again. Don't stop. Ask more questions. Explain your choices and decisions. Discuss the future. Say as much as you can.
So, what are you doing these days?
Well, my wife and I are going to have a baby.
No kidding. I thought you had other plans.
That's right. We were going to take a trip around the world, but our parents talked us out of it.
How come?
Well, they said it was time to start a family. And actually, we decided they were right.
So when is the baby going to be born?
In September.
Your wife is a teacher, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Is she going to keep working after the baby's born?
Yes, I'm going to stay home. I'm studying, and I can do that at home.
That's great. Best of luck.
Teacher.
Yeah.
It's a video?
Yeah, you didn't watch it?
No.
No, only the
No,
audio.
teacher.
Audio.
Oh, come on.
I think it's audio.
I can watch.
Oh, it was in the wrong window.
Let's change the conversation model.
So what are you doing these days?
Well, I'm getting married.
No kidding. I thought you had other plans.
That's right. I was going to go to drama school, but I changed my mind.
How come?
Well, it's hard to make a living as an actor.
Now let's change the conversation model again. Don't stop. Ask more questions. Explain your choices and decisions. Discuss the future. Say as much as you can.
So, what are you doing these days?
Well, my wife and I are going to have a baby.
No kidding. I thought you had other plans.
That's right. We were going to take a trip around the world, but our parents talked us out of it.
How come?
Well, they said it was time to start a family. And actually, we decided they were right.
So, when is the baby going to be born?
In September.
Your wife is a teacher, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Is she going to keep working after the baby's born?
Yes, I'm going to stay home. I'm studying, and I can do that at home.
That's great. Best of luck.
Okay, now you can watch it, right?
Teacher, I have a question of the meaning of kidding.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know if kidding is a bad word.
No, kidding is like funny, and you kidding me, you...
I'm playing, yeah, kidding.
Kidding.
Because, for example, in the movie, it's not fucking kidding me.
Well, but the problem is the other word, the F word. The problem is the F word. Not
okay.
kidding. Yeah, kidding is... I don't find it here. I have kid, but not kidding. That's weird. Here, you've got to be kidding me. To deceive someone as a joke. To say untrue things to someone in a playful or joking manner. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes.
Es bromear.
Yeah, well,
okay.
no Spanish, please, Victor. So, with the video, we just watched a couple situations. A girl, she changed her plans, and the man, he was going on a trip with his partner, and then they decided to stay and have a family. So we can personalize this conversation model to explain a change of intentions. Maybe we can do that on the platform, but I don't think so. Let's move on, guys. It's loading. We'll start with the lesson 2 and the grammar. Before we start with this, I want to show you the corresponding video. Here. There's two videos? I didn't know that. Okay.
Hi there. Today's lesson is on perfect modals may have, might have, could have, and must have. We use these modals to express possibility and conclusions. My friends invited me to go to the ancient city of Teotihuacan this weekend. I can't wait to see the Pyramid of the Sun. Here's a picture. A lot of mystery surrounds the city. For example, who built it? The Aztecs? No. They gave it its name, but they couldn't have built it. They didn't arrive until later. Some scholars think the Totonac people might have built it. Another mystery, why did the people leave the city? They may have left because of a natural disaster. One thing's for sure, they must have been expert architects. The city, temples, and pyramids are still standing. All these sentences use perfect modals. We can use the perfect modals may have, might have, or could have with a past participle to express possibility about the past. For example, we can say, they may have left because of a natural disaster. They might have left because of a natural disaster. Or, they could have left because of a natural disaster. This is a possibility, but we're not sure. We can also use a negative form of the perfect modals may have or might have to express possibility about the past. For example, we can say, they may not have had time to prepare, or they might not have had time to prepare. This is possible, but we're not sure. We can use the perfect modal must have or must not have to talk about conclusions. For example, in the sentences, they must have been expert architects, and they must not have expected the disaster. These are conclusions. We're almost 100% sure the architects were very skilled because the city and pyramids are still here. They were built to last for a long time. We're almost 100% sure the people didn't expect the disaster because they left no records. This tells us they were surprised by some big event. We can also use the perfect modal could not have to talk about conclusions that are almost certain to be true. For example, the Aztecs couldn't have built it. We're almost 100% sure this is true because the Aztecs arrived much later. For questions about past possibility, we use could have. For example, could the people of Teotihuacan have disappeared all at one time? Teotihuacan is a fascinating place with many mysteries.
Okay, guys, let me see. There's another video, but I'm not so sure what this other one is about. We'll watch it anyways.
Hello. Our lesson today is on the perfect modals should have, could have, would have. We use these modals to express regrets, ability, and certainty. Remember my friends invited me to a party a few weeks ago, but I had a cold? Well, I went anyway, and my cold got worse. I shouldn't have gone to the party. I could have said, "No thanks, I need to stay home and rest." Then I would have gotten better. These sentences use perfect modals. We use should have and a past participle to talk about past regrets or judgments. For example, I can say, "I shouldn't have gone to the party, but unfortunately I did." Or, "I should have stayed home and rested, but unfortunately I didn't." Notice that for negative sentences, the word not goes between the modal like should and have. We often use this structure when we criticize someone. For example, in these sentences, I am criticizing myself for a bad decision. We use could have and a past participle to talk about past ability. For example, when I say, "I could have said no thanks, but I said, yes, I'd love to come." We can also use this structure to criticize someone. For example, "You could have called me." We use would have and a past participle to talk about past certainty. For example, "I needed to stay home and rest. Then I'm sure two things would have happened. I wouldn't have gotten worse, I would have gotten better."
So perfect modal, guys, perfect modals. Let's go back to the Geo book. And well, here's just some examples. I guess we'll go over them quickly and then do the exercise. Let's see if you have any questions. Would you please start, Fernando?
Yes. Grammar perfect modals. Use perfect modals to express feelings and beliefs about past actions and events. Regrets or judgments should have, past participle. I should have studied medicine, but unfortunately I didn't. She shouldn't have divorced Sam, but unfortunately she did.
Uh-huh. And in the video, they say that it's a bit of criticizement. How do you write that? Wow. Let me see how you write that word. Criticize. Well, like criticizing yourself. Let me change it. Criticizing someone. Sizing someone. It's a bit of a criticizing someone. In this case, you're criticizing yourself. Or you're expressing a regret.
Okay.
Next one, Victor.
Yes. Possibility. May have and might have. Plus past participle. I might or might have failed the final exam. It was really hard. He might or might not have been able to make a living as a painter.
So these are just possibilities. In the video, was there another one? Only may or might have, yeah. Next one.
And could in the no?
Teacher.
Yeah.
It's may and might. It's like pude.
Like, did you speak Spanish?
Yes, but only a word, pude. I may have failed. Pude haber fallado.
Yeah, someone like that.
Okay.
Just rather think of a possibility. Don't try to translate it. Don't translate it.
Okay.
So you're expressing the possibility that that thing could have happened.
Okay.
Here you don't know if you failed or if you succeeded, if you passed the test. You don't know. But you think you may have failed it because it was really hard.
Okay.
And here he may not have been able to make a living as a painter because you think that because he changed careers.
Yes.
Or he stopped painting. Next one, Juliana.
Yes, teacher. Ability or possibility. Could have more past participle. He was the driver. He could have prevented the accident. The museum was closed, but she couldn't have known that it's usually open on Tuesdays.
So remember that we could express a possibility with could have to, like, I could have failed the exam. That could be also a possibility. Or he could not. Well, he could not. He could not have been able. That's like a conclusion. That's a conclusion. But here their abilities or possibilities. He was a driver. He had the ability to prevent the accident, or maybe he had the chance, the opportunity to prevent it, or the museum was closed, but she didn't have the ability to know that, or there was no possibility that she could have known that.
Okay.
Now this is a conclusion. This is an ability or a conclusion. Oh yeah, this is a bit. They could have it's a bit complicated because it can work on different levels. In this case, couldn't have known it's a conclusion because usually the museums are open on Tuesdays. So if it was closed, your conclusion is that she couldn't have known. So conclusions are must have plus past participle, but it's also could not have plus past participle. That was in the video, guys. That could be also a conclusion like this. And next one, Fernando.
Yes. Certainty.
Certainty.
Certainty would have past participle. You should have gone to Rio. You would have loved it. It's good he broke up with Anne. They wouldn't have been happy together.
Uh-huh. Well, this is, remember, when we are 99% sure of something. So when you say you should have gone to Rio, when you tell this, when you say to someone you would have loved it, it's because you know this person. You're sure this person would have loved it. Like Brazilian music, and you like dancing.
Teacher, I can hear you.
Oh.
Hello, teacher.
No more classes.
No. Let me write a message in the.
Teacher.
What happened?
I don't know.
You put that?
Hi guys, I disconnected for a little bit, for a few seconds.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I think my internet failed.
Yes, me too.
Yours too?
No,
I
it's
think.
yours. Yeah.
Can you watch the screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
So where was I? Did I explain about Rio thing? The Rio thing?
Yes, but I have a question in ability we could have, because you put that is a conclusion. I don't think so, because the conclusion is you have 100% that something have passed.
Aha. Yeah.
But in ability, a possibility don't have a 100%.
No, but that's the
problem.
that's the problem with could have.
But they couldn't. For conclusion, it's more like negative action.
Yeah, it is negative. You only with could not have, only with not. With the other, with the positive form, it doesn't work. Why is it a conclusion, Victor? Because it's a bit of a conclusion and an ability. Your conclusion is that this person didn't have the ability. The museum was closed, but she couldn't have known that. That's your conclusion. Because she didn't have the ability. She couldn't have known that because it's usually open on Tuesdays.
Okay.
So you're drawing a conclusion, maybe from your reasoning, she couldn't have had that ability. So your conclusion is that she couldn't have known that. A bit complicated, right?
Yes, I think it's complicated. Could have, must have. What's the difference? That is complicated.
Yeah, with could have. Well, the easiest thing is if you can replace it. If you can replace couldn't have, if you can replace could for must have, then it's a conclusion and it works. If you can replace the could with may or might, it's a possibility.
Okay.
In between, well, you can think in terms of an ability. If you think that person was able to do something or wasn't able to.
For example, in the first, he was the driver. He could have prevent the accident.
That's a possibility, but we don't know. Remember, we're not sure. We're not sure. Probably, if we say something like, he was a driver, but let me write something. But the engine exploded. He couldn't have prevented the accident. Now you're reaching a conclusion. Because the engine exploded, he couldn't have prevented the accident.
Okay.
That can be a conclusion, and maybe you can say that's an ability. Because the engine exploded, he didn't have the ability, but at the same time, it's a conclusion. You're 99% sure that because the engine exploded, he couldn't have prevented the accident. But this only works with could and with could not have. With could have, it's a possibility.
Yes, it's only when could not. Okay. When I use could have, is a possibility always.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Could not is that's the problem. Could not, because
yeah, could not have. It's a conclusion. Or that it's missing that ability, that didn't have the ability. This person didn't have the ability.
Yes, because I can see could not have now that.
Because it's usually open on Tuesdays. So it's a surprise. If the museum is closed, that's a surprise. That's unusual. 99% of the time it's open. So she couldn't have known that it would be closed.
Okay.
And here, certainty, well, I guess I did explain that.
Teacher, so only we need to understand the part of the regrets, possibility, ability, certainty, and conclusion for understand.
Perfect models, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
But this is the perfect models. Remember that the must and conclusions, we covered that in Unit 1.
Yes, yes.
That wasn't a perfect model.
The must and could.
And we also covered, I think, may and might in Unit 4. So yeah, right now, yeah, perfect models, and these are their meaning.
Okay.
Okay. Conclusions, that's the last bit. Would you read that, Victor?
Yes. Conclusion must have plus past participle. But isn't it her? She must have gone home early. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, you're 99% sure that happened.
Okay. They didn't buy the house. The price must not have been acceptable. I think that is the reason.
And you're pretty certain of it. So yeah, when we use must have, it's because if you say she must have gone home early, it's because you're friends with Beth. You know Beth. You know that either she's at work or she's at home. So if she isn't there, if she isn't where she's supposed to be, you know her. So your conclusion is she must have gone home early.
Yes.
Beth is, because you know her, you know what she does. It's not like, oh, Beth went to get a beer. Beth went to get a pack of cigarettes. Oh, Beth is probably taking a long break in the bathroom. Or Beth, no, you know Beth. If she isn't here, she must have gone home early. They didn't buy the house. The price must not have been acceptable. Well, you say that because you know that they wanted to buy the house, that they were looking for a house, that they had the money to buy the house. So if they didn't buy it, you're 99% sure it was the price.
Okay.
That's a conclusion. That's a conclusion. Otherwise, you would use a possibility. Beth isn't here. She may have gone home early, or she may have gone for a beer, or she may have gone for a smoke. A possibility. A conclusion is because you know her. You know what she's done.
Okay. Yes,
or an ability.
I can start that. But imagine the test in the exam. I have Beth isn't here. She stays home early. I can write may or must. May, might, or must.
Well, then you have pointers. You have tips. If you have something like it was really hard, or this able to make a living, or you have this explanation in parentheses, you can uh, fathom, you can deduce what use of the perfect models to use. If you have an explanation saying that's what you think happened, then that's a conclusion.
When I don't have, when I haven't explanation, it's a conclusion.
Yeah. Otherwise, grammatically, you can use all of this, but it changes the meaning of what you're trying to say. If you say Beth isn't here, she may have gone home early, it means it's a possibility. If you say she must have gone early, it means it's a conclusion. If you say she could have gone early, it means she had the ability. She couldn't have gone home early. That's a conclusion again. Why couldn't she have gone early? She couldn't have gone early because you know that her home is unavailable, something like that.
Okay.
But don't worry about the exam. We'll do some exercises now, and you'll see. It's not that complicated. Questions, Juliana and Fernando?
No.
No, it's okay, teacher.
Yes.
Okay. So let's get started. You know your markings. So did you all get disconnected a few minutes ago, or was it only I?
Only you.
Okay. Yeah. Is everything okay?
Yes, because I haven't explained words. Only have I and architecture, and I are really good at it. That's the problem because I can't.
Well, I study architecture. That's present tense. But we're using the perfect modals. So if you use should, that's a regret.
Okay, it's only because the topic is perfect models. I want to put may.
No, well, the thing is, you change the meaning, Victor. If you say, I study architecture, present tense, right now you're studying architecture. I was studying architecture. That's in the past tense. You were studying. I was going to study architecture. That means you're expressing a change of plans. But I changed my mind. There are different tenses. I will study architecture, future. Now let's mix in some models. I can study architecture. That means I have the ability. I either have the smarts, the money, the access to a school. That's the model can. I should study architecture. With that model, you're expressing that. It's like a recommendation, something you should do, a judgment. I should study architecture because architects make good money.
Okay.
But those models are in the present tense. Now with perfect models, you can say what we just went over, Victor. I must have studied architecture. I mustn't have studied architecture. I could have studied architecture. I may have studied architecture. I should have studied architecture. Grammatically, both are correct. It's just the meaning that what changes, Victor.
I should have.
Of course, you can say I could have studied architecture, but it's a different meaning. Remember to use the base form of the verb have. Should have, could have, must have, may have.
Oh, yes, yes.
How are you doing, Juliana?
I delete my answer because I don't use have.
Okay. Because you didn't use have.
Okay. She must. She must. Breakup is regular verb.
Yeah, break, broke, broken.
Oh, it's broken
Broke up, broken up.
Broken. Broken.
Ah, espérate que sí me dolió la calle.
Here decided with E. So number 5, Victor, would you read your work?
What were number 5?
Yeah, 5.
5. The word or the sentences?
Your statement, that your work.
Oh, no statement. Okay. Ella still loves Ben. She must not have broken up with him.
So, must not. Is this a conclusion?
Yes, because I am 100% that Ella loves Ben. But maybe I can recommendation. Yeah, I can say Ella still loves Ben. She should have. She should not have. Shouldn't have broken up.
I think that's better. That's better, Victor.
Yes, it
It's
should.
a regret or judgment. If it's a conclusion, yeah. This example is a bit complicated.
Yes, because I can use the both answer.
No, but the meaning is different. Grammatically, it's correct. Both are correct, but the meaning is different. If you say Ella still loves Ben, she must not have broken up with him.
Imagine I can see I am see how you say novelas
soap operas.
Soap operas, yes. I know how soap operas. So the principal actors and actress they love, and I am sure that they never or they must not have broken up. Yes.
No. It's a regret. It's a judgment. If you say she must not have broken up with him, that is a near certainty. It is a conclusion. But then what you're saying, Victor, is that love is reason enough not to break with someone up. Like maybe you have there's a couple, and the woman is extremely violent. She cheats on the guy, she hits him, she steals his money, but he still loves her. Or she says she still loves him, even though she does those things. So
if we don't have still, could be the option of Victor?
No.
No, I understand. I understand your point, but I think if we don't have still, because still is like a follow loves of Ben, could be a conclusion.
I'll give you a proper example. But I'm telling you, the meaning is different. It's way colder when you use must. You could say Ella is an immigrant. Ella is from let's say she's from Slovakia. Okay. Ella is being deported next week. Imagine you're in America. She's being deported.
Yes.
Well, even then you wouldn't say she shouldn't have. It's a regret. She must not have married. She must not have married the gringo just for the green card. Now that's a conclusion.
Yes.
But it's different. It's different. Well, the American citizen. I'd say here the correct one is she shouldn't have. It's a regret. And number 6, Juliana?
When I was young, everyone thought I was a great singer, but I decided to become a they said, looking back, I think I should have decided on the wrong career.
Well, is this a regret, a judgment, or a possibility? Regret, judgment, or a possibility?
Maybe it's
A possibility. I think
It
it's a
is a
possibility.
possibility because you have, I think, not I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure I have
Because
decided.
looking, yes.
okay. And when I use should,
Uh-huh.
is I sure the things of the things.
Well, when you use should, you regret or you're making a judgment. You could use should there. Looking back, I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure. Looking back, I think no. Looking back, I should have chosen another career. You could say that. You could say that. Looking back, I should have chosen another career. This is a judgment or a regret. But
Okay.
this, I think, I may have. This is a possibility. The decision you made, it's possibly wrong. I may have decided on the wrong career. This is a possibility.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, guys. Yeah, it's a bit complicated, but with more exercises, we'll get to it.
I have a question, but
sure.
It's a little. What's the difference between another and other?
Well, another, it's oh. What do you call this? I forgot the term. I forgot the term. Let me find that explanation, and tomorrow I'll
Okay.
explain it.
Yes,
Because
okay.
yeah, I don't have it on the top of my head right now.
Okay.
I don't want to go over it. So now we're gonna find three possible reasons for each statement. These are the examples. John is late for dinner. He might have gotten stuck in traffic, and he must not have taken his cell phone, or he could have had an important meeting at work. Yeah, let's do that, guys. We have still some time. I'll give you a blackboard so you can write on it. So let's try to incorporate the perfect models in our reasons. First one, Fernando. My brother never got married. What would be the reasons? Using may, might have, must have, could have.
He must have. My brother never got married.
Uh-huh.
He must have found it.
He must have found. Uh-huh.
No, he must haven't.
He must haven't found.
Found the perfect girl.
The right girls. There's no perfect girl, no perfect man. Just the right girl.
Okay.
He mustn't have found the right girl. Uh-huh. And then with may, might, could.
Oh, I need with all the.
Yeah. Three
Oh,
possible
okay.
reasons. That's one reason.
He could have. Uh, he could have traveled around the world.
Uh-huh.
Might.
I might have.
And might have adopted. Adopted, it's okay? It's
I might have adopted.
Adopted children?
Children, okay. Instead?
Children?
Or what?
May. Go, must. Only may. Yes?
Uh-huh. And,
I don't. Well, I need to see the. One moment, teacher. May possibility. He may. He may have.
Uh-huh.
He may have death.
And he may have what?
He may have death young.
Met young. Uh-huh.
No, death.
Death?
Yes, death young.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
No, with the other one. And he may have met young
Young boy.
Foreign.
Oh, okay.
Foreign women. That works. He mustn't have found the right girl. He could have traveled around the world and he may have met young foreign women. So keep writing, guys. Victor and Juliana. Give some examples, some reasons for these statements. All the classes were cancelled today. Michael is 40 and he just became a doctor. That's the idea. We have to practice the
For example,
use.
on the second, I can write the professors.
The professors,
must have meeting.
Must have met. Maybe it's past participle. Or must have had a meeting.
Have a meeting, just have a meeting.
Must have had a meeting.
A meeting.
Okay, that's one reason. Complete it. Complete it, guys. So Michael is 40 and he just became a doctor. Juliana says he may have begun his career because Michael is a guy's name, Juliana?
Yes. Sorry.
His career, I would say a few years later than usual. Of the usual, no, than usual, just than usual.
Okay.
Number 4, Fernando. Write it on screen.
I greeting, but one moment.
Okay.
I'm greeting, yes.
Teacher, contagio is the same in English? Contagio?
No, that's contagion.
Contagion.
Contagious. The adjective is contagious. The noun is contagion.
Contagion. Okay.
I erase. No, it's okay.
There's an undo button, over there.
Yes, but I finished the sentence.
Teacher, I'm not sure.
So number 6.
In the number 6, yes.
They had their honeymoon in the U.S. instead of in France. They could have had their honeymoon perfect in France. Well, here I would say it's a regret. They should have had their honeymoon in France because it's the city of love. Here, that's an ability. They could have had. That's an ability or a possibility, Juliana. But if you say they should have had, that's a
Okay.
judgment. You're saying they were wrong.
I confused it.
Mm-hmm. But it's correct. Just pay attention. Proper names with capital letter.
Yes. It's better I use they must have.
No, that's a conclusion.
Like a conclusion?
No, it's better. Should it's way better. It's a judgment. Number 4 is Rachel grew up in New York, but now she lives in Sao Paulo. She may have worked in New York in the New York Times. Actually, she must have had a beautiful family, and probably she could have returned to New York the next year. Okay, that's interesting, Fernando. So here you're saying that's a possibility. She grew up in New York, and then she moved away. In the present, she's living in Sao Paulo. But you're saying she could have stayed in New York, and she may have worked in this newspaper, the New York Times. Actually, she must. Well, this is a conclusion. She must have had a beautiful family. That's a conclusion. I would say she could have had, if she had stayed, if she had stayed in New York, she could have had, or she may have had, a beautiful family. And probably she could have returned to. That doesn't make sense. In this case, in this scenario, she's in New York, so she can return to New York because she's in New York. And probably she could have visited. Maybe you can change that. She could have visited.
Visited
Sao Paulo during a holiday.
Teacher, but she lives in Sao Paulo in this moment.
Yeah.
Why visited Sao Paulo during a holiday if she lives in Sao Paulo?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let me change that. Because here you're mixing it. So right, that's a fact. Rachel grew up in New York. That's a fact. And she's now living in Sao Paulo. That's a fact.
Yes.
So you're saying before she's living in Sao Paulo, she may have worked in the New York Times. Okay. And actually, if you say she must have had, you said she must have had a beautiful family with a Brazilian guy, and probably
she could
have
or she might
she might have returned
to New York.
Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Here, yeah, she worked in the New York Times, and that's a conclusion. She must have had a beautiful family with a Brazilian guy, and that's the reason why she's moving. She moved to Sao Paulo because the guy is Brazilian, and probably she might have had
I think
some
the
children
problem
in Brazil.
in the first model. In May, she may have worked. I think it's the problem for the sense.
Statements. What would you say instead?
No, it's
this should be should. Well, it's a possibility. Number 6, it's a possibility, Juliana.
Yes, teacher.
Should would be a regret. So that's fine. 3 and 6 are fine, Juliana. But that's only one reason. You need 3. There's only one. You need 3.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know what would you like to change here, Fernando. Number 5. They had one child and then they adopted 3 more. So let's find the reasons why they had one child and why they adopted 3 more. They must not have adopted more children. Why is this conclusion?
Because it's a lot of children, 3 children.
I would say they must not have being able to have more children of their own. That's a conclusion. They must not have been able to have more children of their own. That's a conclusion, Victor. These are the facts. They had one child and then they adopted three more.
Is
They
a fact?
may, yeah, the first part. Now this can be a conclusion. The next part, Victor. They may have adopted one child more. No, three. No. They may have. Maybe they may have wanted a large family. They may have wanted a large family. They could have thought, if is correct, that doesn't make sense. What are you trying to say?
The what?
The last part doesn't make sense. They could have thought, if is correct. This doesn't make sense, Victor. They could have thought.
Yes, because for me, maybe they should think if three children, not correct.
Okay, they could have considered if adopting
Three
three
children.
children was a good idea. Like that?
Yeah. This is the
Teacher,
Yeah.
sorry, the part of the number 3 is the number 6.
Okay.
This, yes, and the other. And the part, yes, this.
Okay. You can move those guys. You learn. So, because they could have had their honeymoon in France because it is. Don't forget the subject pronouns. And France, that's a proper name.
Sírveme.
It is a sea of love. They may have thought it was the best option. Or what are you saying? That the honeymoon in the US was the best option?
In
They
French.
may have thought the
French,
US.
sorry.
And they could have, well, in this case, they may have, yeah, this is conflicting information.
I have order for the number 4.
Okay, in a bit. They could have had their honeymoon in France because it's their love.
For me, is the France was the best option.
And you want? Yeah, but the thing is, this is a fact, Juliana. They had the honeymoon in the U.S. instead of in France. That's a fact. That happened. We have to provide 3 possible reasons why that happened. I know you think France it's a better option, and when you say they should have or they could have, that's correct. But at the end of it all, they did have their honeymoon in the U.S. So we have to give reasons why that happened. Like here, John is late for dinner. That's a fact. John is late. The explanation is he might have gotten stuck in traffic. Or he must not have taken his cell phone, so he couldn't call someone for a cab or something. Or he could have had an important meeting at work. But this happened. John is late for dinner. Why is he late? They had their honeymoon in the US instead of in France. Why?
Need explain.
Yes,
why.
3 reasons why. So they had one child and then they adopted 3 more. That happened. Why?
Yes.
Number 4, you said that, Fernando? So Rachel grew up in New York, but now she lives in Sao Paulo. So you're saying she must have had a beautiful family with a Brazilian guy, and probably she might have had some children in Brazil. She might, perfect models, it might have visited.
Oh, yes, they have.
No, it doesn't make sense. This is a possibility. She might have visited her mom.
The next week?
But what does that have to do with Rachel growing up in New York and living in Sao Paulo? You can say, in the present tense, you can say, she may or she might visit her mom next week. But that's not a perfect modal. That's not a perfect modal. That's just expressing a possibility. She might next week visit her mom. But when you're saying she might have visited, that's in the past. And that has nothing to do with Rachel growing up in New York.
Oh, it's okay. I understand.
Now you understand? Okay.
Yes.
And you, Victor, everything clear now?
No.
We'll do more exercises, guys.
That talking is very difficult.
Okay, we'll do this on the platform, and we'll see if we can get that fixed. Let me take a screenshot and move to some other exercises.
Okay, teacher.
Okay.
Because just free writing is difficult. Writing like this, it's very difficult, guys. I get it. It's difficult. We only have like 10 minutes left. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you know.
But that is easy because only you need to put hat, gun in the cave.
Have and
Because I
the
have my mouth, you could.
And the verb.
and the PP.
Okay.
Yes.
But the idea is that you actually read the whole statement, because if you understand this like a formula, I know you guys are engineers, but if you think A plus B equals C, if you think that way, and I know you guys do that, then here all what you see is it's modal, either must, might, may, could, should. That's what you guys see. And then you go plus, have, plus, past participle. And that's wrong, guys. Because then you're not paying attention to the statement, to the sentence, to the meaning of it. You only say, well, I know, must, have, try, past participle. Have tried.
Have tried.
But you have to read the whole thing. What does this mean? This is a what? A conclusion. And what does it mean? Think about it for a few seconds. Think about it. This is a conclusion. That means you're 99% sure. So you say, you must have tried peanut butter when you were in the US. Why do you reach this conclusion? Because of this. Everyone eats peanut butter in the US.
Yes.
Now, guys, now you can make this connection. The modal must. Here is a conclusion because we have this statement. Without it, that doesn't make sense. Without it, you can't say you must have tried it. Why? Next one. That's a possibility? Because of might. But what does it mean? What does it mean?
Yes, it's a possibility because it was playing near the pattern.
Exactly.
Near. So it's have gum.
Mm-hmm. So have bought, have been,
had told.
and here, Juliana?
Have seen.
Fernando?
Broken? Have broke?
Can?
Broken? Okay.
I like it.
Would have liked. Yeah, don't look at it as a formula, guys. Read the whole statement and then explain why. So, number 3, Juliana, read your statement, please.
Yes. Jean and Ralph should bought a SUV.
So this is a judgment, right? It uses too much gas. It's a regret or a
A
judgment.
regret.
Uh-huh. Next one, Fernando.
The number 4.
Yeah.
Who could have been at the meeting? Let's find out and call them to hear what happened.
So what's
it's a possibility.
A possibility or an ability?
Yes. One moment.
The question here could be, who was able to attend the meeting? Yeah?
Yes. Who was be able to attend meeting?
So it's also the ability. Who had the ability? Victor, 5?
5?
Yes.
We should have told Rachel about the weather report before she left.
Mm-hmm. Here, guys, the meaning is different. If we change the model for could or might or must, all the models are possible. Grammatically, all of them are correct, but we're changing the meaning. Here, when we're saying we should have told Raquel about the weather report before she left, there's something implicit. Why should we have told her? Maybe because we know that it's going to rain. We knew it was going to rain and we didn't tell her. So she forgot she forgot her umbrella. So we should have told her. Uh-huh. Or we could have told her, but we're upset at her. We didn't want to tell her. So grammatically it's correct, all of them. It's just that these meanings change, guys. They change. Number 6, Juliana?
Yes. They couldn't have seen the movie. It didn't open until today.
And this is a?
Conclusion.
Why?
Because I am sure I didn't open until the cine.
Well, it didn't open. It means it wasn't premiered. It wasn't premiered. The first a movie opening is the first time it is displayed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Number 7, Fernando.
I must have broken the coffee maker. It doesn't work anymore.
And what is that?
It's a conclusion because it doesn't work anymore.
That's a conclusion. Victor, the last one.
Molly would have liked the concert. It's too bad she didn't go.
What is that thing? With wood?
It's how you say, ability? Certainly.
There's a certainty.
Certainly, because
you know Molly. If you say that, it's because you know Molly. You know she likes the band, you know she likes concerts, you know she likes to dance. Because you know her, you can say with certainty, Molly would have liked it. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have to use might. She may have liked it. Questions, guys?
Not teacher.
Okay, we'll do more exercises tomorrow.
Okay.
Try not to look at this as formulas, guys. I know it's something very easy for you. That's the way your brain works. It's also the way my brain works, so I understand. And
I think this topic is the most difficult.
No, not at all.
No, I
Okay.
think it's the indirect speech for me.
No, well, you'll see, guys. You'll see. It
For
gets
me?
interesting. I like conditionals with mixed time frames. Now that's
Yeah?
a mess. Conditionals, but when you mix all the time frames. Now that's very interesting.
Okay.
But that's probably next semester, guys. Next semester.
No, but this grade for this level, I think that this topic is the most difficult.
At the moment.
The moment for this level.
Maybe. You just have to realize some are possibilities, conclusions, certainty, abilities. We'll do exercises. With exercises, we can solve it.
Okay.
Have a lovely evening, guys. See you tomorrow.
Teacher.
Yeah.
See you.
Your test?
Yes.
Let me see if I can fix that. Stay online. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Because